Very pleasant good morning, everybody. Welcome once again. Another edition, a Wednesday edition of the Defo Show. That handsome gentleman over there is one Mike Lubitz, proud father of Luca Panici Lubitz, who really has changed his routine during the course of this show. Did you give him some kind of lecture or something? Does he understand what the hell you're saying? I mean, how do you translate baby talk into something that is actually tangibly understandable? Comprehensible, but somehow you've done it, man. I don't know how you did it, Louie. You know, the kid will probably start crying and puking and
Yeah,
doing all kinds of stuff now. But
he's a baby.
and then the cat comes in and the dog's. You've managed to control your dog Wolf completely, which, and I'm happy to say, believe it or not, and I know this has been kind of a weird week because we started out with one of my dogs, Skippy, suffering a seizure 2 in 1 day, which made me think, maybe it's time, right? The time.
Yep.
Don't like to think of that. So he's recovered nicely. And yesterday, now he has hated all dogs. When this was a big problem for me,
Mm.
he hated all people and all dogs.
Yes,
He would go
yes,
nuts. Well, you've seen
yes,
it. I mean, back in the day when we first got him,
yes.
it was enough for even the Mustang, who was the one who wanted the dog, which I wasn't in favor of getting one at the time because she had a dog that had passed away and had to be put down, and it was heart wrenching as it always is.
Yep.
And I thought, well, it's too soon to get another dog, and maybe I would dig not having the responsibility of having an animal.
Yep.
As much as I always fall in love with these animals, and I
Yeah.
had the 3 cats for a while, and now 2 dogs, and I had dogs previously. But I was thinking, hey, just a little freedom for a little while might be good because it's a major responsibility. Last night, I was out having a great time, and I had to tell these guys I was with. I was driving because one of my friends tends to get a little bit wasted, and his driving is somewhat suspect when we leave. In fact, his wife won't let him go unless I'm driving.
Oh
So
God.
I'm the responsible one now. Can you imagine that? To
That's
all
so
the talk about cocaine and all the other stuff
funny.
that we do back in the 80s. And I had to tell these guys, look, I have to go because I have to take care of these dogs. I got to get back there. And I was only going to have a certain amount of time to actually go from where I was back to the house, run another errand. And then I was driving and heading right back to pretty much where I was at Hillsborough Boulevard, which is about 20 minutes from my home. But it's a responsibility. There's no doubt about it. So I come back home. I take Skippy for a walk, and he falls in love. He meets a little dog, and I thought he was going to go crazy and do his usual Linda Blair and the Exorcist thing, spinning around like a maniac. And instead, I see his tail wagging as if he had just had a raw steak dangled in front of him.
What? Oh, that's great.
And he started schmoozing with this little dog named Patsy, who is a couple of doors down. I didn't even know there was a dog there. I don't know, maybe some new people moved in. He fell in love. How great is that?
My God, he's had a new lease on life. That's amazing.
Seizure awakened some
Woke
other
him up.
endorphins or whatever that is, hormones that
Classic.
at an old age, all of a sudden. So that was good. That was good news to report. All right, funny incident yesterday, Lubie. You can appreciate this because our mutual good friend, the Greek, who we worked with for a little while. He was on our shows once a week for a year or so when we were doing 940 wins.
Oh, he was on. Wasn't he on? Wasn't it every day? Didn't he do every day with us?
Was he on every day? I don't know.
I think it was on every day. For an didn't he do an hour with us? I thought he did an hour with us every day.
He may have, yeah, might have.
Maybe it was once a week. I don't know that because remember that's what got us into WBZT and
12:30 zone. Yeah,
syndicated
right.
was doing stuff with the Greek, and then the Greek didn't have time because remember he started his own thing on 940, so he could only join us like once a week, and we stayed on there because they liked what we were doing there, and we stayed on there for a couple years, 2-3 years.
Oh, that was a good thing. We were syndicated,
cool.
2-station syndication. Nice.
We were, and it worked, and people were hearing us in Palm Beach. I remember being up in Palm Beach, and I'd be with the Greek, and people would would know me from not only Greek but from our show. Yeah, it worked. It was cool. But yeah, the Greek's family. He's family. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I love the Greek.
Sounded impressive, because we used to do the intro and say we're on 940 Wins, 1230 The Zone, and the iHeartRadio app around the world. I still remember that being one of our signature things as identifying what the hell we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, we forged a very good relationship with the Greek. I like the Greek.
I love him.
And he's an interesting character also. I tend to be attracted to characters and people that have character, and he certainly has all of that.
Yep.
So we've sustained a thing where he was calling me a lot. I mean, you were doing this show quite a bit also
At least once a week. It's been a while.
because you were stuck for a guest, basically. Well, not
That's
in
what
your
I
case, but I'm in my case
that's
also.
what
We
I
talk all
presumed.
the time. Yeah. Can't find like a
Wouldn't
real
give you
guest. He's calling you and me. We know how this works. I mean, let's face it. We're
100%.
very transparent. If you want a transparency in a show, this is the
Yeah,
show
exactly.
you're going to get it on. So, anyway, this was kind of funny because I've been going on there maybe once a week, once every other week, and I always have a good time.
Yeah, it's fun.
I know how to work with the Greek, and he's a different style of broadcaster than I am, but he seems to go ahead and let me do my thing, and we have a good time together. A lot of people tell me they love the segment. I
Yeah,
even had a guy call in, a caller during the segment that he put on last week, who called in to say how much he missed you and me, and
oh,
he loved
nice.
the show and all of this stuff. And the Greek actually put him through.
Nice.
So we're trying to establish a time. He originally asked me to come on. I guess he starts his show at 2 o'clock there in Palm Beach, and I find it interesting because you would want to do the first segment yourself normally under these
Yes,
circumstances. You would,
100%.
unless it was absolutely necessary to put a guest on because they couldn't do any other time.
Pretty much.
Like if Pat Riley tells you, "Hey, I can only come on at the top of the show," you're going to say, "Sure, Pat."
Yes.
We'll dispense with the usual formalities and nonsense, and we'll
Yeah.
go, "Hey, this is great, Lubie. We're going right to Pat Riley."
Yep.
All right, so Greek usually offers me to come on right at the top of his show, which is
Oh,
weird, at like
wow. Which is weird.
2:05 or 2:35. Right?
2:30 is when he used to always have me. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So he says, "Hey, can you come on 2:35?" This was the original message. I said, "Sure," but and he thought that was better for me because he knows that we have the Mike Mayo Lunchbox show, and it sometimes that overlaps. And then
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, how
Pain in the
sensitive
ass, yeah.
Mayo is to this, but I say, "Hey, I got to go," and it's like, "Hey, what? You got to go for another show?"
Yeah.
Uh, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, it's fine. We
yeah,
love Greek. It's cool. We
wouldn't
get
matter that much, but so we rearranged for me to do this appearance at 2:05, which
okay.
was better for me because then I can get on with my day and not have to worry
Yeah.
about the obligation to call this guy's show.
Yeah.
So anyway, I call in at 2:05 and I'm on hold. The producer's very nice to me. He seems to enjoy when I call into the program there, as the Greek does. And before I get going, I'm on hold and I hear the Greek. He's sort of just rolling through point spreads at the top of the show. And then I hear him go to a call. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I thought he was going to punch me up. And he says, okay, let's go to Art in Palm Beach. I'm like, wait, why is this guy taking a call? I mean, I'm standing by to be a
What
guest.
am I doing? Yeah.
Not that I would be offended by that if that's
But
what
it's
he
just
wants
what's
to do.
going on. It's again, it's with you when sometimes things will pop up. And you don't know what's going on. So I'll
Yeah.
write in the chat, but if you don't look at the chat, you'll just roll through. And I'm like, how the hell do I tell Defo that someone's waiting for him?
May as well just go on the air and say, hey, listen, shut up for a
So
second.
that's
You got a
literally
guest
what
on here. Yeah.
it'll happen. Like you forget, like you just get in your own monologue and you forget what's going on.
Yeah. So, long story short, he introduces this guy, goes to the call, basically introduces the guy as if he was a caller.
Okay.
And then, and when Art actually responds to, okay, Art, you're on the program, it turned out it was a guest. It was Art Shamsky, the former New York Met.
Oh, you love our Shams. Oh, that's so funny.
I love Shamsky, but
You do. Yeah, that's funny.
so I'm on hold there waiting to go on. And Greek apparently was unaware that Art Shamsky was calling his show because he just introduced him
Oh,
as Art as if he was a caller.
we had no idea it was our Shamsky. Oh, that's
Had
funny.
no
That's
idea.
fun.
Yes, it
Have a good
was
time.
kind of comical. And then, so it's always awkward, I think, when the guest has to identify that they're a guest.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. Yep, it's me, Art Shamsky.
So I hung up because I really, I
Yeah,
had
just
other
nice,
stuff to
nice,
do,
nice.
and I figured, okay, because he sent me a text then, realizing that he had a guest already
Yeah,
scheduled,
yeah,
and he said, "Hey, call back at 2:35." I said, "Sure," but
yeah.
I couldn't help but bust him on that one because
I love it. That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's happened, right,
We
Louis?
had it 100%. I would because we would book so much stuff that I would forget we have something at like 9:30 because 9:30 we normally didn't book anything, and the person would call on the hotline and we would be like hotline, and then I would be like, oh,
Oh yeah,
by the way.
it's Rick Pitino online too. Hey,
Like,
Rick, how
sometimes
you
if it
doing?
was someone we loved, it's fine. Like if it was Ian or whatever, it'd be fine. But
Yeah,
like sometimes it would be like an author that I totally forgot I booked, and it was someone we wanted, but it was like, Oh, shoot. How do I tell Defo this as we're coming back from break and the person's lingering on the line and he's at home?
It
He's
just
not
reminded me
here.
of that whole craziness, that dynamic
We
where
definitely had that. Yes. Yes,
you've
we
not
had.
only blown off the guy that you had on hold, who was going to be a guest, but you've insulted the guest that you invited on because you were unaware of
100%.
who the hell he was.
We've done that
And
entire.
now I have familiarity with Shamsky because he was
I
part of
think
the
we've had him on.
69 Miracle Mets.
I think we've had him on. I think it
Yeah.
was wrote a book, a Mets book or something. I definitely remember having him on because you would always talk about him. So once in a while, people that you always talked about would pop up as a guest that
Yeah.
like there's no other show is going to want this, but I have to put this person on.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I
Bavacqua was not in the
Bavacqua.
news at all, but you would talk about Bavacqua so long that I was like, how am I going to not get Bavacqua on? Like that would be
How could you not love him when he
he
was
was
part
great.
of that great Tommy Lasorda rant? I mean, the dripping sarcasm with which Tommy Lasorda mentioned Kurt Bavacqua
It's classic.
is as classic as anything I've ever heard in any sports soundbite. Just absolutely amazing. And especially, he said it a few times. A guy like Bavacqua.
Yeah.
I love that. When we had Bavacqua on, he was absolutely delightful. Art Shamsky in the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, Louie.
Yes. Yep.
I thought his accomplishments were broader than they actually are because I remember him hitting above 500
Jesus.
in that National League Championship Series. And I think in that time, in 1969, it probably were only two playoff series. You played the Championship Series, and then you went right to the World Series.
Yep. That's why they call the pennant. Like the pennant was a much bigger deal because you literally there was only two teams making it to each. It was at a conference. I don't know the league.
Yeah. I mean,
You had four teams making the playoffs back then. That
it
was
was it was a league, American League, National League, and yeah, I don't know when did it change to where they had the championship series and they added two teams into the postseason. Because at one time, I mean, I grew up with 8 teams in the American League, 8 teams in the National League.
Yeah.
They had no other playoff. I mean, whoever won the pennant went to the World Series.
Yep.
I want to think that was a really new development there around 1969, where they had a preliminary series to the World Series. I don't know. I guess we could look it up, but yeah. But Shamsky always stood out to me. He had a brilliant championship series in the National League. Hit over 500. He ended up going 0 for 6 in the World Series, platooning with the great Ron Swoboda, who, of course, was a klutz defensively, but made 2 of the greatest World Series catches that you will ever see. I mean, with apologies to anybody that's made a great play, that diving catch that he made coming forward in right field that essentially saved one of those World Series games, brilliant. And this coming from a guy, I always love it when it comes from some slug that is a liability defensively. And Swoboda, for most of his career, I want to say, was every bit of that. But I do remember Shamsky being a very nice person, very approachable, because as vendors, we were there hours before the game and hours before they opened the gates. And we used to hang out by the players' parking lot where they came in. And I mentioned this many times at a souvenir stand by the players' parking lot, which was where we were witness to in the 1968 AFC Championship game. Joe Willie coming in at about 12:30 for a 1:00 game. And he literally, as I've said many times, was being held up by 2 of the most amazing looking, they looked like twin Swedish models.
Jesus.
And they were both wearing fur coats, and so was Joe. And my friend Cliff Keller, who was helping me out that day, because figured, hey, it's an easy way to get him into a championship game. And then B, we were going to be swamped with business. So it was nice to have somebody at least keeping people from stealing all of the crap off the stand, which was a common practice in New York. And we were watching all of these guys coming in, and we kept saying, where's Joe? Is he here? He couldn't imagine that Namath had gotten there before every other player. And then it had to be around noon, Lubie, where finally we see a guy stumbling in, and it's like, that's Joe Namath. And, of course, the story later was verified that he was out all night till like 4 a.m. getting wasted the night before that game. And the New York cops, did you ever see, I think there was a 30 for 30 on this, and the police who were aware of
they're betting against it. They're like, there's no way the Jets are going to win. This guy doesn't even care. This guy's annihilated. Yeah, they were literally putting money, the cops themselves.
Cops were betting against the Jets.
Against the Jets because they're like, oh my God, I mean, how do we look a gift horse in the mouth?
Talk about inside information. No, it was great.
Exactly.
So anyway, I was bumped off that original time for Shamsky, but I thought it was kind of funny the way it came about.
Oh,
And
that's classic
having been in that circumstance with you, Luby, and other
for
times,
sure.
it's always weird when you go, well, okay, we got Jimmy online too, and it's Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, yes.
Although Jimmy used to call arbitrarily
Jimmy
as a
did do
caller,
that.
and he wasn't on the hotline, so you were thinking, "Oh, okay, I'll take this call. What the hell? I mean, I'm running out of things to say, so perfect. Here you go, Jimmy in Miramar." And
Right.
sure enough, that's happened to me many times, but it was kind of interesting yesterday. All right, yesterday, USA. I told you, man. How did these guys? How can they lose, Movie? How can they lose this World Baseball Classic?
I mean, they shouldn't. They should be top
They
3.
shredded the San Francisco Giants, Movie.
Okay.
15-1 yesterday.
How does that
15 to
work?
1. Paul Skeens on the mound. He gave up a run in 3 innings. Aaron Judge, team captain, 2-run single in the first. Things were transpiring a little bit slowly in terms of run production. I thought maybe I saw the first like inning of the game, and then was trying to keep tabs on it a little bit. It was 3-1. Bregman hit a home run, and now with the Cubs, we have to clarify that. And 15-1 was the final. They bang out 19 hits. This guy, Nolan McLean of the Mets, who wasn't with the team, is now going to be joining them. And I thought maybe because he's in Port St. Lucie, he had caught this cold that's running around that everybody has, which
Yeah.
you're lucky, Luby. I mean, have you developed some kind of huge immune system?
I don't go out a lot. That's it's very. We live a COVID-esque life in the sense that like we don't really do a lot. So if you can stay away from other people, like you can stay healthy.
That's nice.
I just don't. I
Don't
mean,
go outside, man. The man, a boy in a bubble. Is that the way it is?
honestly, I mean, we go outside, but like we don't do like when we eat out. It's rare, and like usually we do a lot of eating outside because the weather's been nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
we keep our distance. I guess I don't know. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like we were, our friend's baby is sick, and then now their whole household is sick, and we're like, oh Jesus, like. Yes, we tend to just keep to ourselves, and I guess it works out.
So, I mean, as we say, we probably shouldn't make medical diagnosis here without any information, but I thought, okay, makes sense. The guy might have the flu, but turns out he suffers from vertigo, Luby, which is a weird thing, right? You're just standing there and all of a sudden you get dizzy. Who was it? Was it a diver? No, that was is that dyslexia?
Is
Vertigo.
this-
Did Donna Di Verona have vertigo where
I don't know.
you're up on a high platform and all of a sudden you get dizzy? It's like a very dangerous thing. I seem to remember some female diver also had vertigo issues. I want to say Donna Di Verona, but I might be wrong about that one. But we're not afraid to just go ahead and stipulate to something that has no foundation in truth here, because that's what sports talk is
Mary
all.
Ellen Clark. I don't know who Mary Ellen Clark is, but she was a famous diver
Oh,
who
okay.
had
There you go.
overcome vertigo. Mary Ellen Clark.
I wasn't that far off, was I, Louis?
I don't know. I don't know who either of the people are. So
But Donna Di Verona, very famous, and she became a very good commentator. I don't even know, was she a diver or a swimmer? Check that out for me.
Mm,
Donna Di Verona. She was associated with a swimming pool, and that was one thing I'm certain of. But
there you go.
and she became a very good commentator, a very prominent commentator for a long period of time. So people might be familiar with her. I want to say that she was featured on Wide World of Sports or one of these back in the day when there were a zillion anthology shows, which I think greatly hurt people's appreciation of the Winter Olympics. Because didn't NBC have one of those shows also? They tried to do some kind of knockoff for CBS of Wide World of Sports, which was the original and probably was the best at this. And who else would have heard of the Demolition Derby if it wasn't for Wide World of Sports?
100%.
From the West Islip Speedway here on Long Island, it's the Demolition Derby. Didn't you? Well, you weren't around then,
I
but
was way after that. Yeah, I've seen
it's
clips.
the
I know.
only auto stuff I wanted to see there. I
I know
didn't
what
care
you were
about any of these other guys, Formula One racing or stock car racing, any of the other stuff they put on there. I was a big fan of the Demolition Derby, as everybody was, because it's kind of like driving on the Palmetto. Correct?
100%. Yeah, when you get into that part of Miami, it definitely is. There's not something like nothing like it.
No. And I was trying to do a little bit of a deep dive, as deep as I go. I don't dive that deeply into this stuff normally, but with the NCAA tournament, what we made what I think is a hideous suggestion yesterday, Luby, which was that
Okay.
once you get past the chalk, which would include maybe what the top 5 teams in college
Now
basketball.
that they have Florida in the top 5, yes, I would say the top 5.
I didn't see anybody that was going to win the NCAA championship. And the first rule of thumb as a gambler should be by just, I mean, internal desire not to be a chalk playing putz.
Well, yeah.
Should be to put a line through the chalk, right? Just like they said, Richard Dreyfuss and Let It Ride, as he would ask some tout, "Hey, who do you like in this race?" And the guy would say, "Well, I really like the 3 horse." And then Dreyfuss would turn to who was the guy that was his accomplice, and
I
he would
don't know.
immediately the guy would have a scratch sheet with him, and
Yep, yep,
Dreyfuss would turn to the guy and say, "Put a line through that one."
yep.
And basically, if there was an 8 horse field in the movie, I want to say that he would get 7 opinions, put a line through all of them, and then he would bet the horse that nobody liked. So, are we making a big mistake here by making any kind of insinuation? Are we not going right into the wheelhouse of Kendrick Perkins
Mm,
and guiding people down a very sordid and slippery slope by suggesting that there weren't that many strong possibilities outside of what appeared to me to be the chalk? Now, and look, if you like the Florida Gators, they're plus 750, the latest odds that I saw to win the
that's actually
NCAA
solid
championship.
because Ken has them in Duke as the two teams that are playing the best basketball right now. So that's actually not bad.
Plus 750 on the Gators seems like a bargain, doesn't it?
And the defending champions who retooled and are playing as good as anyone in college basketball right now, and they show that they can. Again, they should have lost like 3 games in a row last year, but they shown that their coach can find a way to win over teams that are probably better, and they're playing good basketball. Yes, that to me, they're the second biggest favorite right now to most college basketball heads, as they say. That seemed like good odds. I get it's a whole tournament. You got to win. Is it 5, 6, whatever the hell games you got to win it all? So I don't know if anyone gets
You have
like
to win
worse.
6 games to win it all.
So I don't know if anyone gets worse because you can be the best team ever. To win 6 games in a 2 to 3 week span is a lot for kids to do. So like you can be the best team, and I don't know if you get that much better odds, but still, that seems pretty solid for a team that I would put in the top 2 to 3 of favorites right now.
I would think they would have a shorter price because, and are we, look, you're only as good as your last film. Well, we know that's the case. People at the races, at the horse track, tend to bet the horse that won its last race.
Yes,
And when you look at that, very few horses win 2 races in a row.
bingo.
You do get some super horses that end up winning 4, 5, 6 in a row. Then you have the occasional aberration where you get a horse like Cigar who rattles off like 16, 17 in a row. But usually there's a change of conditions. Horses that win a race often find themselves bumping up in class and taking on higher caliber horses in their next race. So the tendency of people to see, they look in the past performances and they say, "Hey, look at this! He won his last race by 3 lengths." Is a very deceiving factor in handicapping. Sometimes, I mean, is it better to have won the race than to have finished fifth? Yeah, of course. But when you're handicapping anything, people are always going to have a tendency to gravitate towards the chalk. You've seen this, Lubie. I mean, even not being a gambler, you've seen how many
100%.
times.
You know,
And the
as you
logic
said,
dictates that, right?
yeah, they're the chalk for a reason. They're the favorite because people feel like that's the best option. So people you would think would put more money on that.
Exactly. But we've seen now. You'll watch a team like Michigan lose a game, or and what they lost to Duke in a gut wrencher that went down to the wire. Arizona, all of a sudden, I mean, they look like the number one team in the country. They were the number one team in the country, and then they, what? How many games did Zona lose? Where all of a sudden they're ranked. I guess they're ranked second now in the country, but
I
sure
think
look
they
good.
lost one. Is it 1 or 2?
But the and the Wolverines, Michigan is still ranked well number one in terms of odds. I don't know. Maybe these odds were old. Is that possible? Because they're no longer the number one team in the country. In fact, they're ranked number three, but they're only 320 to 1. So plus 320, as they would call it in gambling vernacular. So you're going to win
Arizona has 2 losses
2 losses. Okay.
total.
So were we overly influenced by that? I mean, can you throw them out? Because you're getting almost 5 to 1 on Arizona in this
No,
thing.
the top 5 again, they're top 5 for a reason. They played good basketball all year, and I think both losses are to good teams. Again, you brought up Iowa State, Houston, and Michigan State are the teams that I'm curious about. And I guess Gonzaga's 12, but Gonzaga's played really good basketball. And they have a really good coach. Those are the kind of things that can get you some interesting movement in the tournament. It's just the top 5. especially Duke in Florida. And you look, UConn's been dominant for most of the year. Like those teams for a lot of all five of those teams for a lot of this season have been dominant. Like all five of those teams.
Yeah,
So that's hard to
UConn is plus 950. So I try to use a little AI and find the sleeper teams that were in here, Louis, because we're always looking for a sleeper team. And you had a number of them being given out. St. Louis, do you see that? St. Louis. They are. I don't have the odds on St. Louis, but these were the teams that were listed as possible sleepers for the NCAA tournament. St. Louis, based on their defense and rebounding, as a mid-major a type of Michigan team. UC San Diego. We've seen San Diego be prominent in the tournament, but I don't know. Have you heard much about UC San Diego?
No, I don't know.
No. Virginia Tech and NC State. Do you see them coming out of the ACC and winning it all?
No, no.
That seems like a stretch.
I think FSU beat VT and FSU's in, and I think they played NC State well. So no, I mean Duke's just murdering teams.
Yeah. Iowa State, Texas. I really haven't heard much about
Iowa State's interesting because they've been there all year.
They just got crushed though.
Yeah,
by Arizona, right?
It's Arizona who's really good. Like I would again, I to me it's those five teams, and Houston again is just always interesting because they play they can play elite defense if they're allowed to, or they can be in trouble because of their defense. Like it just depends on what whistle they get. And
Sure.
and if they get a friendly whistle, they're really hard to beat because they beat the living crap out of you. So like, and that's a team that can go a far way, and they usually have veterans. He usually has like guys that are in their 30s. So like, he keeps veteran guys, and they play hard defense, which is a mix that works in the tournament. But those five teams, again, Duke and Florida seem to be the banner teams, and then Arizona, Michigan, go right, and UConn go right there. They've been good all year, and they have a lot of talent.
I'm trying to write you a message here, but I can't find the question mark on my keyboard all of a sudden. You don't need the question mark here. Yeah. What's the scoop on that? This is almost like a Shamsky moment.
He's been saying since the beginning of the show. I just let you go. You've been on a roll.
No, I was perfectly happy to bring. You hate to keep a guy waiting like past his scheduled time here.
I'm a friend.
Tony, how are you, man?
Our family.
Hey, I'm fine and dandy. How are you?
Doing well. Feeling pretty good. But yeah, it's good to have you here on the program. And I don't know. I mean, when I don't know how much college basketball you've been following this year, but do you see any of these? I mean, are you looking at any of these sleeper teams? It seems like a real stretch. It would be a sleeper. It wouldn't be a sleeper unless it was a stretch of the imagination. But it's hard for me to get by the raging chalk here for the NCAA.
It's hard. It's hard to get by that chalk. But Lubie, how are you? First of all,
I'm well, Tony. Nice to see you. Good morning. It's funny, the team, if you're talking about Luca's good. He's finally passed out. Thank God. It was a fun night with Luca. It's funny if you're talking about the ACC. It's not VT or NC State. UM's a team that could be very interesting because they've been good all year. Their coach has a lot of tournament experience with his time with Duke, and they played the good teams really well. And that's the kind of thing that, again, in the tournament, every team's good, right? It's the freaking tournament. So I don't think they win it all. But again, if you're talking about teams out of the ACC, UM's very interesting because they've been atop the conference or top 5 or 6 in the conference all year long. And they played Carolina, Duke really well. So they're a kind of team that could get a really good bracket. Again, it's all about matchups once you get to the tournament. Like
if you get hot the right time, you could run.
I would put UM over VT and NC State.
Yes, but Duke and Michigan are tough to beat.
Yeah, that's another
reason.
I'm not discounting. I mean, as much as this pains me to say, I don't have the same animosity. I mean, I doubt this will ever leave you, Tony, because it's more deeply entrenched with the fact you went to the University of Miami and. We hated the Gators for so many years as an on-air commodity. It was really rough listening to those Gator fans. It was kind of, I mean, I was out with 2 guys last night that I'm very fond of in terms of friendship, and they're great guys, and they're flaming MAGA Trump supporters.
Oh God!
So I can't help myself sometimes with my snide commentaries, and we're blowing by a couple of gas stations.
Yeah.
And I literally had gone that same route when I was traveling up to Boca Sunday morning to play tennis with my son. And there are a couple of gas stations along the stretch that are routinely much cheaper than even the ones like a few blocks south or north. So I usually stop in there and just top it off there. And it was $2.69 for gas at one of these stations, which was as low a price as I've seen around here. So
Low,
I stopped.
low.
Well, I mean, this was Sunday.
Yeah. Ain't
So
that?
what were we talking about? Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yes.
309 at the same station.
50 cents in 2 days.
And I'm thinking, and I couldn't help myself. I said, "Hey, your boy's at work. He's doing a fine job getting prices." And my friend Jimmy immediately turned to me and said, "Let's not talk about that."
Yeah, exactly.
Because the other day I sent him a text. He's a big in the financial world, made himself quite a bit of capital. And I sent him a text. I said, "Markets are tanking. They're bleeding. Red ink." He told me to go F myself. So
don't do. If I learned anything over the years, it's don't bring up politics, especially that man in the presidential office.
You almost can't help it. I mean, you get dragged into it. But in this case, I was startled. I have never seen.
No, 50 cents in 2 days. Like, that's insane.
Mike Mayo yesterday alluded to this, and I thought he was absolutely on the money. He said, "So how is it possible? It's not like they just got a new, oil delivery out of the Straits of Hamas or whatever that is. This gas was sitting there already. It was already in their tanks. So how is it worth 40 cents more based on the fact that from one day to the next where we had these developments? You think they could have sold off the rest of their supply there at the same price that they were offering just a day ago, but that was kind of ugly. All right, we'll get into a bunch of stuff with Tony Segreto. We'll go old school with Tony Segreto. I don't know if I'm buying University of Miami. I would be rooting for them. It would be amazing. Could this be Jim Larinaga too? Where this Jai Lucas takes them into the final.
I'm telling you though, if the team gets hot, one team gets hot, those top 20 teams get hot, they may run the table.
And we've seen this before, where you don't even have to necessarily be a top 20 team, where one guy gets hot. And we saw that with Steph Curry, with Jimmy Fredette. Where guys, we saw it way back. Glenn Rice, was on fire. They were a good team already. My man Cazzie Russell when he was with Michigan. One player can make a real signature performance for himself and elevate his status. And of course, how many coaches have we seen that come in there, they slay some dragon and end up getting a real good job by coming out of that? Who was the guy that knocked off Purdue, Lubie? Do you remember? I'm blanking on his name. It was some school out of New Jersey, like Fairleigh Dickinson, right?
I think it was Fairleigh Dickinson. Good job by you. Yes.
What was the coach? And he immediately got elevated, the following season to another big time job, much like Dusty May did with Michigan. Although Dusty was at FAU 1 year after that, was he not?
Yes.
After the Final Four?
Yes. He stayed at FAU the next year, and then the year after went to Michigan.
So that's part of the tournament. I mean, people get hung up on win the championship or else you're nothing, but or Final Four. But so many other stories emerge from that. So very excited to see that develop in about a week from now. All right, we're going to come back with more with Tony Segreto. A little old school with Tony Segreto in a moment. Now that
the time,
Johnny, it's 8:44.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got Tony Segreto going old school, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, one of the finest establishments. Like 600 of the finest establishments anywhere.
They're awesome. They're great, but
I really, it's beyond, it's unfathomable how they do what they do. We've been talking about it forever in our long relationship with Ed Garcia and Texas Roadhouse. But I mentioned this the other day on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox show. I was absolutely floored. I went to Publix. I was going to get some ground beef and just kind of cook it up for my dogs because I was out of their usual dog food. And I'm looking at these relatively small. It wasn't like one of those giant Costco janitor in a drum size packages of ground beef. Relatively small. It had to be like a couple of pounds tops. $26.
It's like
I've never seen a price tag like that on like a relatively, just something that you pick up. This wasn't one of those things that you need a wheelbarrow to get the stuff out of there, or one of those giant Costco shopping carts, which are particularly dangerous. It's funny how a personal injury attorneys just sit outside Costco waiting for somebody to
100%.
Achilles snapped by being mowed down by one of these shopping carts. But I couldn't believe it. And then Texas Roadhouse, they just resist. You don't ever see price increases.
it's amazing to me. And it's not just the beef, it's the fish, it's the chicken, it's it's everything you can think of. And they keep their prices solid. And
I don't know how they're going to be able to maintain that and sustain that, Tony.
I don't know either.
I know it's big. They have their own cattle supply, which obviously is an advantage. But man, what an incredible job they do. So
yes.
It's cheaper than going to the store at this point. It really is, because when you factor
Defo, it would have been better for you to go get 2 pounds of ground beef at Texas Roadhouse and bring it home and give it to your dogs.
I could have just got a couple.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I was amazed. I was stunned because usually you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get some ground beef here, and it's going to be a very cheap fix. And I'm looking at. I said, I'm not paying this. I can't pay $26 for a small package of ground beef. And
hey, Defo and Lubie, I want to ask you a question.
Hmm?
Is Tyler Murray a good fit for the Dolphins?
Kyler? Oh,
Kyler I don't think so. Is that not going to be 2-2 at this point?
Yeah, he's not that good, and he's hurt all the time. Okay. He sounds just like what the old regime would sign.
That's why I bring it up.
I'm hoping this guy's better. Like, he's been doing things differently.
Go back to that old way, though.
I hope not. I don't want Kyler Murray. I don't need Kyler Murray. He doesn't work. He hasn't.
I wouldn't bring him in here. He's not the answer for what the Miami Dolphins
again, and where they are.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It would be it wouldn't be as bad as Cleveland sending their entire draft for Deshaun Watson and getting nothing out of him. But
is he still around? Is Deshaun Watson still around?
Still on the roster? Yeah.
See, this is a year where he's supposed to be healthy, and the Browns have already dealt with all the garbage. They might as well play him. Like, he's healthy. He's been hurt. On top of all the garbage, he's been hurt. Now he's not. Like, yes, he's still on the Browns. He's still there. Yes.
It's my theory about the Dolphins, too. I think they should just pay and play Tua. If you're paying a guy, is he not better than Ewers or anybody else that they could bring in?
Yes.
I don't know. In an interesting move, this hasn't happened in 30 years, and I didn't even know this was around for 30 years. Daniel Jones got the not the transition tag, they call it, not the franchise tag, transition tag, where didn't that happen with Wes Welker? Did he get a transition tag?
Yes,
and then the Patriots,
yes.
A lot of people thought, wow, how stupid are the Dolphins? They let this guy go. But they were in a position where they couldn't counter because the Patriots gave Welker a contract that was heavily front
They
loaded.
call it a poison pill.
Yeah, and so the Dolphins were not in a position to match that. It would have been ludicrous to match that.
Yes.
That contract they gave Welker. Now Welker went on and established himself as a great player for the and a perfect fit for
But there's
Tom
nothing
Brady.
to say that he was going to do that with the Dolphins and whatever Schmidt quarterback they had. Like,
Exactly. So I don't know, but I mean, would you make an offer for Daniel Jones? Seems incredible to me that the transition tag, the lesser of the two tags, Colts $6 million, still pays him almost $38 million for the season. That's pretty incredible. But yeah, quarterback carousel be interesting. I'm not sure. Kyler Murray, does he end up with the Jets? They're desperate at this point.
that's your Vikings. I can see Vikings, another desperate team.
Vikings
maybe.
also?
Yeah, because the McCarthy thing is not working
Right
out.
now, I'd make Vikings the number one pick. Number one team.
Vikings and Jets. I mean, they need quarterbacks bad, and they're desperate to try. Yeah. It feels like both of those teams.
Well, and the Vikings, oddly, were mentioned in the possibilities of teams that might make an offer for Daniel Jones.
Tua is because they need a quarterback. They just do.
I would think Tua would be a better fit for the Cardinals replacing Kyler Murray than Kyler Murray would be for the Dolphins under the circumstances replacing Tua.
Look,
that would be my
Tua's not been good the last 2 years. Tua's numbers aren't good. Tua should not be the starter for the Dolphins. The Tua thing has ran its course. These are all true statements. But the way people talk about Tua is just really weird because they're ignoring reality. Like, people, I literally saw a list that he was the greatest bust ever. He's not a bust in any way. He earned a second contract. Should they have given it to him? No. It was stupid in hindsight, but he earned it. He literally led the league in touchdowns, I think, multiple times. He led the league in passing multiple times. He led the league in whatever quarterback rating is, it's still there. He led the league in it multiple times. He led the league in completion percentage multiple times. Is he the Dolphins' future? No. But is he a bust? No. You can be both. You can just have not been good enough, but not be a bust. Like
being average. Being average is being average.
He ended up being average. But for 2 or 3 years, he was a top 7 to 8 quarterback in the league. He was. His stats are what supposedly matter. And his record's good. He actually has a solid record and has double the touchdowns and interceptions. Any stat that matters, he has good stats. So, like, they've done this thing with Tua. Well, he just can't play. And he's also young still. I think he's like mid to late 20s. Like, it was a bad organization that didn't treat him right, that didn't surround him the right way. And he had injury issues that have clearly changed the way he plays the position. And that's all true. But this thing where, Tua. It's like, dude, it's not freaking, it's not Cleo Lemon. Like, believe me, this thing that Dolphins, and they're longing for Fiedler. If Tua had the goddamn team that Fiedler had, Tua might have won a freaking Super Bowl. Like, Fiedler played on the best Dolphins team we've had in the last 20 years. Yes, this team had big name signings. They weren't good. They weren't constructed properly. That team had one of the best defenses ever and one of the top 10 to 15 running back. Like, Ricky at that point was as good as any running back ever. Like, the way that Tua's talked about is so weird. Like, I've admitted he's not what the Dolphins need. But if you're an organization that has everything and just needs a quarterback, Tua would be very interesting in your roster, man. Like, he really would. Like, that's why I thought the Rams would be very interesting, because they're going to have to move on from Stafford at some point. Like, I don't know. The way Tua's seen now is so weird to me, because he's not the future for the Dolphins. Fine. But he's not. Like, if you look at some of the backups in the league, the way they talk about Tua is like, well, Tua's 28th in the league. It's like, guys, like, if you look at some of the quarterbacks that are starting for teams, like, come on, man. Like, it's just,
let's not forget they were ready to hold a parade after we put 70 up on Denver.
Yes.
I
didn't mean for Lubie to go on a rant, but
no, it's just
we love Lubie's rants.
I've seen this all over the place.
I do too.
Yeah.
You go out.
Oh, well, Lubie was a huge Tua supporter.
I admit it. And I was wrong. I was wrong. He's not the franchise guy. I was a proponent of the contract. They should not have given him the contract. But you don't have to go the other way and forget that he was good at one point. Like,
you couldn't label him a total bust. No way.
So
in terms of what your goals were in drafting him number 5 overall and then paying him subsequent to
it was a failure.
His rookie contract, where are you? You're stuck with a guy right now that you're not even going to play, that you're paying $40 million for. And as we were discussing last week, Tony, none of us can figure out exactly what dead money is in NFL, but he represents Well, dead money might be where I'm at, in negotiations, in various divorces. But and that's what this is. It's dead money. I mean,
exactly.
so overall picture, yeah, it wasn't what you wanted, but you can't say it was a bust because there was a time there where people were giddy that they had this guy, and he looked like he was going to develop into not necessarily the best quarterback in the league, but certainly a guy that was more than serviceable and trying to take advantage of the fact you had Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and this was going to be your electrifying offense. And let's not forget, he was held back by Flores hated him, and Flores hated everybody in the organization because they were telling him to lose. So that wasn't advantageous to his development. And then when McDaniel came in, he was embracing the guy, but McDaniel has subsequently been fired. So it's just been a series of negative developments that haven't necessarily helped Tua, including what did appear to be an obvious regression as a top-notch player.
So okay, change subjects. If you were a betting man,
Me?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you were a betting man, Defo,
If you ever bet before,
who would you bet on the Final Four?
Oh, I don't know, man. I was saying I'm having trouble getting by the chalk. I mean, it's absolutely disturbing to me.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably looking at any of the top 5 or 6 teams being probably 2 or at least 3 of the representatives there. And I'm struggling to find a team. I mean, like you said, somebody can get hot, so and make it into the Final Four. Fluke things happen, injuries happen, all kinds of crazy stuff, bad calls. Team goes cold at the wrong time. But it's hard not to see at least a couple of these teams: Michigan, Duke, Zona, Florida, maybe Houston and UConn, being at least 2 or the 4 that are in the Final Four.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
I can't get past the top 10. I just can't get past them because someone in that top 10 is going to bust out. And I like Miami, but I don't like them enough.
No.
What about Miami of Ohio?
Yeah, I think
they're not making the Final Four, but I mean, they should be
They're
acknowledged.
not bad. They're not bad.
Really weirdly.
They just got by Toledo. They've had any number of scares, but we should applaud any team that goes at 30-0 in a regular season.
Yes, and they're in the top
Was
20.
it St. Peter's? Was it St. Peter's that?
St. Peter's was a great Cinderella,
Yeah,
but
that's a
what
great
did they end
story.
up winning? 2 games?
Did they get to the 8s?
They got to the final 8. Yes.
Okay.
Got to the 8s.
They
Won
essentially
3.
won 3 ball games.
Yeah.
Which was nice. I love that part of it. That's the best thing
great.
about the first day. And
It's hard to predict.
look, nobody ever comes up with a perfect bracket, so
No.
there are going to be upsets, and that's why a guy like the professor is particularly valuable to listen to on these shows, because he does follow all of this stuff and gets much deeper into it than just looking at who's in the top 10. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that my depth of knowledge of college basketball this year is strong enough for me to go out on a limb and say, hey, Tony.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, and then our friend here just said, and that's the truth too, and that's what Ken always talks about. You think, okay, these are the top 6 teams, but it's when the brackets come out, you then look at, oh shoot, this one has a tough road, this one has an easier road, this one has 3 of them in the same bracket, right? Because sometimes they'll screw teams, the bracket of death or whatever. So like, it really depends on who are the 6 best teams. The rankings have it, like they're pretty spot on. But it's what are the matchups? Like that's what I sort of I'm waiting for to pick an actual Final Four. And again, we don't know, but it feels top heavy this year to me. Like it feels really top heavy. And again, people say it never happens, but it has. We have had it all number 1s before. So like this year, it sort of feels like that. But we'll see. We'll see what the brackets are and how teams finish. I mean, that's we still have another couple weeks.
And look, well, what's the first thing that gamblers do when the brackets come out? You start looking at the 5 versus 12.
Yep.
And now you can take it even deeper because you're looking at the 13 versus 4, and you're thinking out of the 4 games, there's probably going to be an upset in one of those categories. I still remember, I don't know that I've gotten over it, when I believe it was Richmond knocked off Syracuse as a 2 versus 15.
That was one of the first
which
ones.
was somewhat unprecedented, or might have even been unprecedented.
One of the first times, yep.
Then you got Fairleigh Dickinson knocking off, number 1 Purdue that year.
First time, yep, or the second time.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, look, when you see the matchups, very difficult to judge because I just don't see enough of a lot of these teams too. I mean, when I saw St. Louis as a sleeper team, who was the guy? Hughes that they had? What was his first name?
Yes.
Larry Hughes. Good
Larry
job.
Hughes,
Larry
yeah.
Hughes. Nice.
But wasn't that the last time?
Yes,
that
I don't
he
know
got
anyone.
any recognition. That was like 20 years ago.
And I don't know if he was great in college. He was one of these young dudes that
He was already a doorman at some building in New York. Played his NBA career.
It's been a long time since Larry Hughes was in those.
The last time they were relevant, in that category. So, anyway, Tony, what do you think? World Baseball Classic. We had one of our people on the chat line here ask for sleepers at the World Baseball Classic. Are there sleepers? I know. Look, I'm going to be back in my Israel team with Comin, who's from Queens, and he's a Jewish guy, and he ended up playing for Israel. Reminded me of a long time ago. I had a friend named Glenn Gerfine, and we were playing a lot of basketball. And he calls me one day. He says, I got the keys to the gym. We're going down there. We're going to start practicing. I said, practicing for what? He said, well, we know we can't get anywhere near making the U.S. Olympic basketball team, but you know what? We can play for Israel. And he literally had me psyched into the idea that we could probably make the Israeli team, which was very far-fetched by going out there and putting in some extra work. But we never got around to even sniffing anything close to that. But still, I mean, I don't know. Sleeper teams in the world baseball. Are there sleepers, Lubie? What do you think? I mean, who's a sleeper?
I don't know. No, I mean, how many teams are there? Is there that many teams?
Is Cuba even in this?
Cuba? I don't believe so. Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I don't know who's in the field.
I don't know. That's my thing.
You know that the usual suspects would be Japan can't be a sleeper with Ohtani and the other. I mean, they're basically bringing the Dodgers out there to represent Japan. Venezuela, I always enjoy seeing the Venezuelan fans in the crowd. Dominican Republic probably has a loaded roster, but I'm going with the chalk here too. I don't see how the USA with that roster.
The USA is loaded. They're loaded.
USA or DR is where I would lean. I mean,
Japan. Paul Scenes is your third starter.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty
Scubal is like the second starter. I mean, it's back to the two respective league Cy Young Award winners.
It's great. All kidding aside, it's great to see all those guys committed to playing this tournament.
That was nice. Yeah, I mean, I was on my handicapping show yesterday, Bury Your Bookie. It's on nofilter.net, some other platforms, with my friend Mike Jones, a big baseball guy. The question would be level of commitment. Like, do the pitchers really want to go all out in this thing and late season performance with their professional teams?
Should they know, but they probably do.
Yeah, I guess that has to be managed very carefully. But yeah, how do we lose, man? You got 4 guys that have like 50+ home runs in your batting order.
Yep.
Last year, you got Judge, who hit what? Did he hit 70 last year or something like that?
He hit 70, but he had a lot.
Schwarber is your DH. Cal Raleigh hit 60+ home runs. They're all in the starting lineup for the USA. They put out 15 runs yesterday. So not too bad. All right, Tony, what do you got going? Where are you? I see you're home.
I'm in here. I got a doctor's appointment at 11.
And what are they looking at? Just in general?
My heart.
Oh, really?
Wow. Good luck.
It's not giving you any problems, is it? Or is this just a general?
No.
Okay, all right.
Just a checkup.
Good.
And, that's about it.
All right.
Love you.
All right, Tony. See if you start working on credentials for the semifinal and the final down at.
I got credentials for the World Cup. Yes.
No, the World Baseball Classic. The semis are here. The semis are here. We just, of course, didn't take action until yesterday. Defo was like, "Oh, we should get credentials." I'm like, that stuff's usually once.
When the note comes across to whoever the PR person is, and it says, "Who's this Tony Segreto? We got a call here. Should we honor that?" Yeah. You have a much better chance.
Yes, if we're going late, it's you.
In DeForest or Lubitz as the people that are requesting this. So, anyway, it'd be fun to go down there. You had that festive Latin crowd. I really would enjoy that. It's kind of like going to fights in Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
many times. And in Colombia, where you just have to hope that they're not throwing bottles down on the ring, even when their guy wins.
I took a flight to Cuba. The Dominican Republic, I think, was a fight. And it was wild.
Oh yeah,
Wild.
Insane.
I can still feel the beer can that hit me in the shoulder when I was doing a call of a fight in Colombia in Barranquilla. And I forgot, I didn't realize this, that they were selling, I've mentioned this a few times, where if you bought more than one drink, and this was in a place where it had an overhanging upper deck. It was a small arena, kind of like the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia, or even the Olympic Auditorium in LA, which I used to go to all the time. But if you bought more than one drink, they gave you the bottle. And the people actually had the glass bottles in the upper deck. And they were not afraid to fire them as projectiles. It was almost like being in Iran today. I mean, just unbelievable. Their guy won, and they were upset. Imagine that. Carlos Torres, I'll never forget this. And all of a sudden, the bottles are flying. I did get struck by one, so I could have been very dangerous. It's kind of like our friend Brad Jacobs was talking about when he was in that arena in Mexico, and he literally had his head split open by a beer bottle. After their guy won, there was in a bullfighting arena that sat like 100,000 people this fight. So, yeah, be careful, Tony, if you're doing worldwide travel right now. All right, that's Tony Segredo, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to do it for us today on the program. We'll do it tomorrow. We don't know the status of Dave Gurgle's Gurgly, but he is.
Yeah, no, he's in for tomorrow. If we want to do trivia, he's in, yeah.
So we'll do a little trivia competition. And then, of course, Friday, we'll dive heavily into conference and possibilities for the NCAA tournament with the professor, and also have a big board. So a lot more to do this week before we call it a week. And we'll call it a day today. For Mike Lubie-Lubitz, Tony Segredo, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks to the people at Texas Roadhouse for sponsoring the show. And we'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:06.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they got.